But a game happened last night that I wasn't so sure we would have to talk about until, I guess, it got to halftime and we saw what Boston College was doing to Florida State. I don't want to take anything away from Boston College. Final score in Tallahassee, mind you, was Florida State 13, Boston College 28. Y'all, Boston College, if they had wanted to, they could have scored again. They could have scored again, and they could have really made it a little bit ugly. Took a knee within like the 10-yard line of Florida State. And Boston College was the enforcer. They ran the football well. Castellanos, whatever his rating is on College Football 25, they probably need to tweak it a little bit more to make him a cheat code like he was last night. But I think Florida State is the massive talking point this morning. College football sickos, the season is here. Want y'all a part of this. Make sure you're locked in. Make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss a minute of the college football coverage we have for you on this platform. The hard count on this channel, the On3 YouTube channel. The frustrating part is, like, if you're a Florida State fan, you're looking back at all the things people like myself were saying about Florida State and the defensive line and the trenches and how tough they would be. Like, this is nowhere near what we were advertised when it comes to Florida State. Like, this is not even close to what I think they have on the roster. And that's the frustrating part. Like, everything that we were told they would be, they haven't been. And DJU, and he's someone we've talked about a lot on this show, he's going to get a ton of blame. Some of that is very warranted. He missed some throws last night you just cannot miss, brother. Like, back corner of the end zone, end of the first half, we need points, guys wide open, you got to connect there. Everyone makes mistakes, but at the same time, you're going to be held to a certain standard, especially when you've played as much college football as he has, especially when you have the track record he has. Like, there's not going to be a whole lot of margin for error with DJU. So he is definitely due his fair share of the blame. No question about it. But I keep going back to this point. Quarterback, quite frankly, is the least of your worries right now if you're Florida State. Like, I don't think it matters who you have playing quarterback. I saw stuff on social media last night about, is it time for Brock Glenn? I'm like, throw him in there. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you're getting outrushed 263-21. Put Tom Brady back there. You have 21 yards rushing to another team's 263. You're getting beat. You're getting beat. Also, we were told, hey, the culture of Florida State. I thought the culture of Florida State would be substantially better. They were not disciplined. They had 7 penalties. And the thing that probably would irk you the most if you're a Florida State fan, outside of the anemic offensive output, outside of getting just beat like a drum in the trenches, both sides of the line of scrimmage, what should irk you is the fact that you got horrific body language all over the field. And I'm talking about before this game was even the beat down that it was. Like, we got guys doing the whole palms up, say, hey, I don't know, it's not my fault, what's going on, what are we doing here? We got guys not chasing down Boston College on the interception, guys just giving, the equivalent of, like, lip service, just walking, like just doing it to do it, just walking after the guy after he intercepts it. We got guys just giving up on we got guys walking off the field after they get scored on. Like, that was unrecognizable from what last year's Florida State team was. And so I think if you look at, like, the roster, Florida State has no business losing a game like that. They don't. You say, well, JD, they got outrushed by darn near like 240 yards. 100% true. But the guys that Florida State has on their roster should not be getting beat like that against Florida State. There's no way. Or against Boston College, rather. There's no way. So, with that being said, when you talk about Florida State going forward now, as the head coach, much like DJ, you being the quarterback, if you're the head coach, you're Mike Norvell, like, you're going to receive your fair share of the blame. No way around it. And I think a lot of people are going to say, well, the portal strategy, is that the right way to go about doing business? Through 2 games so far, they have earned that talking point. I also think it would be a little bit inappropriate of us to not at least acknowledge that over the course of the last 2 years, Mike Norvell has gone 23-4 with this same portal strategy. So what changed? Head coach is the same. Strategy is the same. Yeah, you probably missed in the portal in the way that you hit the last couple of seasons. There's no Keon Coleman or a Johnny Wilson or a Jaheim Bell. Like, yeah, that's definitely true. But the thing that I'm looking at with Florida State that I can't totally square is, like, okay, head coach I think is trying to install a good culture. I think he's trying to set the right bar. And the coaching staff can only do so much. Like, for me, who is the leader in this locker room? And I'm not saying that to try and, like, pick on any one player. I'm just saying, like, genuinely, who is the person that will draw a line in the sand and say, this is not okay, regardless of the results. I'm talking about like the effort, the body language, the execution, the penalties, all those things. Like Mike Norvell, as good of a coach as he's been the last 2 years, he cannot want it for this locker room. The best teams, the best cultures are coach-led, player-fed. Okay, the players are the ones that actually execute in the leadership side of things. So honestly, like we talked a lot about Florida State being a college football playoff team, and I told you last Sunday, like, hey, don't turn the lights out on Florida State just yet. Don't turn the lights out. Honestly, like I think the question isn't so much more like what can they do in the postseason, because that to me feels like a very ambitious goal at this point in time, starting out 0-2 in ACC play, 0-2 on the season. I think it's a legitimate question. Can they make a bowl game? And I'm not here to overreact, but like they still got some tough ones left on the schedule if they want to make a bowl game. And if they're allowing 200 yards rushing, I think that's a very, very fair question for us to ask at this point in time, because it is a very, very difficult formula they're working with right now. They're not multidimensional offensively. They can't stop anybody on the ground. Their body language and their attitude when they start getting beat does not seem like a winning formula. Somebody's got to step up in that locker room and be a leader. And so, I mean, this is kind of the cherry on top now. If you're 3-2-1-0, there has been a more or less a manhunt that is after this man right now from what he promised to do if Florida State were to lose to Boston College. For those of y'all that have no idea what I'm talking about, here's the Spark Notes. Florida State fan on Twitter after the loss to Georgia Tech says, if we lose to Boston College, I will eat a cup of dog feces and I will do it live on Twitter or something like that. He has since deleted his Twitter, and all of college football social media is now trying to track this man down. So it could always be worse, is what I'm trying to tell you right now. It could always be worse. You could be in that guy's shoes, but right now, man, the discussion is no longer is Florida State a team that can be in the college football playoff. I think last night made it pretty clear that's not the case. The discussion for me is like, can they salvage this thing and become a bowl team? Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.